Hello everyone, in this video we will see what happened at New York Comic Con, so follow me and dare to face the unknown. And don't forget to always ask me questions. Welcome to Explore Fun Facts Universe. Let's start with Marvel's mural at New York Comic Con that reveals new looks at Red Hulk, HERBIE. A Marvel mural at New York Comic Con has revealed fresh looks at Red Hulk, Harrison Ford, from Captain America, Brave New World, HERBIE from the Fantastic Four, First Steps, and more. You can check out the full Marvel mural courtesy of Brandon Davis below. I've got to say, I'm loving the look of Red Hulk. The motion capture process was a new experience for Harrison Ford, who has described the process as being an idiot for money. Captain America, Brave New World has had a fair number of reshoots, with rumors of significant changes to the script. However, the trailer looked pretty solid, with a Winter Soldier vibe that should please fans. Here's hoping it can stick the landing. In addition to Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the film also stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres/Falcon, Shira Haas as Ruth Bat-Seraph, Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stern/Leader, Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley, and Liv Tyler as Betty Ross. Captain America: Brave New World will hit theaters on February 14, 2025. As for the Fantastic Four: First Steps, the film is still in production. It stars Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, Eben Mossbackrack as Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, and Julia Garner as the Shallabal version of the Silver Surfer. Additionally, the great Ralph Ineson will play Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich, and Natasha Lyonne have also joined the cast in undisclosed roles. The official title of the film was unveiled at San Diego Comic-Con this summer, as was a short teaser trailer that concluded with a glimpse of Galactus himself. Director Matt Shakman, WandaVision, confirmed that the film is set in an alternate 1960s inspired by famed concept artist Sid Mead. "We're not just doing the 60s, we're doing retro-future 60s, Shakman said. "It's part what you know from the 60s, but part what you've never seen before." The Fantastic Four: First Steps will hit theaters on July 25, 2025. We had some exciting updates to share about the upcoming Daredevil: Born Again, starring Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, during New York Comic Con 2024 NYCC 2024. During the Marvel Fanfare with C.B. Cebulski panel, series producer and Marvel Studios production and development executive Sanaa Amanat joined Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski to discuss Marvel's long history of telling stories in New York City and what it was like filming the first season on location in the city. From there, Cox and D'Onofrio joined the party to show off a special sneak peek for those in attendance, a sneak peek that confirmed March 4, 2025 as the show's premiere date. In Marvel Television's Daredevil: Born Again, Matt Murdock Cox, a blind lawyer with heightened abilities, is fighting for justice through his bustling law firm, while former mob boss Wilson Fisk, D'Onofrio, pursues his own political endeavors in New York City. As their past identities begin to emerge, both men find themselves on an inevitable collision course. In addition to Cox and D'Onofrio, the streaming series also stars Margarita Levieva, Deborah and Wall, Eldon Henson, Sabrina Guevara, Nikki James, Genia Walton, Artie Frauchen, Clark Johnson, Michael Gandolfini, with Ayelet Zurer and John Bernthal. The suit that Daredevil is supposed to wear in the series was also on display, but it appears to have a pinkish tone, which is leaving some fans confused about the color, but it could also be because of the light. Now, we will only see it when a trailer comes out or only when the series Daredevil: Born Again premieres, which is scheduled for March 4, 2025. Sony revealed new looks at 3 of its upcoming titles: Venom, The Last Dance, Karate Kid, Legends, and Kraven the Hunter, during an hour-long presentation at this year's New York Comic-Con, which featured appearances by Aaron Taylor Johnson, director J.C. Shander, Tom Hardy, Juno Temple, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and director Kelly Marcel, as well as footage from the Kraven opening, a Karate Kid, Legends trailer, and a clip and discussion about what happens when Venom takes control of a horse in The Last Dance. Shander kicked the presentation off, teasing that it's like an old gangster film, basically this classic kind of journey, but obviously with a little bit of a Marvel spin. "This ain't a peachy Kraven. You don't do it that way. You gotta go brutal with Kraven." He added of the December 13th release, "It's not just Kraven. We've really got an opportunity to dive into the Marvel characters in a really cool way," he said. We wanted to have the spirit of those characters be what fans want and also bring it to the screen in a new way. We've walked a tonal balance where myself as a storyteller and as the director, I know the actors in every performance were not breaking the fourth wall. We believe in this story like it was really happening. Speaking to the film's R rating, he shared an eagerness to go more mature based on the comics. When you get in those books, it's pretty intense. When the studio gave us the opportunity to see if we wanted to do this as an R-rated film, we were like, yes, he said. It was an amazing opportunity. It sort of opened up some really intense kind of grindhouse stuff on one side, and then some also really intense character stuff. On casting Taylor Johnson, the director noted there was a real challenge. To find an actor who has the ability to stand toe-to-toe with a lot of these other actors in the movie and hold up the chops from a performance standpoint, but also be able to physically move in a way, which is this sort of animalistic dance, he said. He was born to play Craven. Johnson, after appearing on stage to Wild Cheers, spoke about Craven's iconic image, specifically his physicality. It's always interesting playing a villain, and I think it comes with a lot more depth and complexity. He's real. He's not an alien. He's not a visual VFX monster. He's a man who's made a choice to be a hunter, a killer. I think that comes with a lot of layers, he noted. Craven is a hunter, not a poacher, and as every great hunter knows, sometimes you have to cull the herd to preserve the order. Once you start applying that to human beings, that's when it becomes a pretty dark story. Among the footage teased was the film's opening, which saw Aaron Taylor Johnson's Craven transported to a prison colony. There, Craven arrives to a boisterous welcome, as fellow prisoners bang on their cages from above before he meets his cellmate, who notes the last guy was there just a month and Craven promises he'll only be there a few days. He faces a number of newly made enemies before having a meeting with a leader of one of the colony's gangs, who, after an exchange of words, traps Craven inside. That sets off an intense fight sequence featuring Krava viciously taking out the whole room before taking the fight to the hallways outside, where he eventually breaks free from the prison, climbing its walls before fleeing through the tundra into a wall of snow. A second clip showed Craven arming himself in a house out in the forest, preparing to hunt a number of men with guns shooting the wildlife. That hunt features him using a bear trap to take one of his enemies out, along with a swinging log covered in spikes, all before a helicopter chases him from above. Karate Kid was up next, beginning with a trailer that was opened by Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Star Ben Wong led much of the footage, which heavily teased the film's focus on family, fighting, and stunt work. In life, you only have one question. Is it worth fighting for it? Or not? Chan is heard stating. The film opens May 28, 2025 and unites Chan, star of the 2010 Karate Kid movie, and Macchio, who led the original films, as well as the Netflix hit Cobra Kai. Fans of Venom were treated to new footage from the third installment in the Tom Hardy-led franchise, which has already released a trailer teasing the closing chapter for the symbiotic relationship. During the panel, Hardy reflected on playing the character for over half a decade. "I've absolutely loved playing Eddie," he told the crowd. "It's been one of the best things in my life, so it'll be sad to see him go." Hardy also spoke to how he and director Marcel worked together on the films, frequently taking an idea that they go back and forth on, before Marcel teased where the film will take fans. "We find him where we left them at the end of Venom 2, she teased of the film, which opens next week. Now they're fugitives and on the run. The Last Dance is a road trip movie where they're chased by people from our world and other worlds, and the longer they stay together, the more they realize staying together puts the world in jeopardy." E.F.F.U and Temple also teased their characters, noting that E.F.F.U character is a military man. He is incredibly stringent and forthright in dealing with these creatures and trying to hold this facility together, he said. Temple's character, who shares the facility with him, works on the scientific side, but the two don't always see eye to eye. During the panel, Hardy also explained how the team filmed his scenes with Venom in his head, noting it involved multiple earpieces that included a recording of his Venom voice in Marcel's direction. The duo are generally quite collaborative on and off screen, including in the writing process of the film, which Hardy explained during the 20-minute presentation. "I come up with these fantastic ideas," Hardy said. "Then what I'll do is talk at Kelly, and I'll keep talking until Kelly say, 'That's enough.' Then I'm like, 'Yes, she's got it.' Then Kelly goes away and comes back with things I'd never thought to say, but it's all formatted perfectly, and I pat myself on the back. With Kelly, my ideas turn into something completely different. That's about how it goes. There's some drawings involved as well," Marcel added. Hardy expressed he appreciated their partnership, and celebrated her growth from co-writer to director. I've been working with Kelly for 20 years or something. We started out trying to get our first jobs together. I just want to say she's super talented. I back her 1,000,000%. I've been with Tom for 7 years on this journey, so these films mean everything to us, she said of getting to direct for the first time. I was really grateful to Sony for letting me see this one through inception all the way to the end, especially as the last in the trilogy. It was a beautiful experience, and I really hope it opens doors for more female directors directing male-led action movies. Towards the end of the panel, the cast and creative team were asked whether a Spider-Man crossover was in the cards. Marcel said, "I would love to see Venom and Spider-Man, but who knows?" As for whether this is the end of the Venom arc, Marcel and Hardy confirmed it was. "We always saw this as 3 pictures, and we wanted to tell Eddie and Venom's story in 3 movies. The arc for Venom and Eddie closes here. But as we know, there are lots of symbiote stories in the canon, so there's lots of places to go, and maybe even there are a few Easter eggs in here that might start that journey off," Marcel teased. Now James Gunn and the cast of his upcoming Max animated series, Creature Commandos, took the stage at New York Comic Con on Saturday, promising a new entry in the DC universe that is something beyond what any of us expected. The series' executive producer and writer was joined at the packed panel by fellow executive producer Dean Lorey, as well as voice cast members Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr., David Harbour, Frankenstein, Zoe Chow, Nina Mazer-Sky, Steve Agee, Economos, Maria Bakalova, Princess Alana, Alan Tudyk, Dr. Phosphorus, and Sean Gunn, G.I. Robot and Weasel, for a series trailer and a conversation that teased the first installment in the new Gunn and Peter Safran-led DC universe. Gunn confirmed during the panel that the series will be its own thing. "Every single project out of DC Studios is going to be its own thing. We want this to be very different from what Superman is going to be when that comes out," he said, pointing to Lanterns and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. "It's a connected universe, but we're not imposing any overall aesthetic. That aesthetic for the animated series, according to Lorey, is Eastern European. We were looking to do something that was sort of grounded, but with some style to it. It's got a lot of really dark tones. The palettes are really cool. But as you can see, it's very action-oriented. It sets itself apart from, say, Harley Quinn and those kind of shows. It feels more adult." Gunn addressed the early process for the series, which was already in the works before he stepped on to helm DC Studios. "It was written when I started as the CEO of DC Studios. I had talked to Max about creating something after Peacemaker did so well. I talked to Peter Girardi about creating an animated series. I like the Creature Commandos. I love monsters. I love Frankenstein, the story of Bride of Frankenstein. It seemed like the perfect thing to do," he said. "I wrote the scripts without a deal. Then I happened to get hired instead of DC Studios, and I very graciously. Thank you, self." During the panel, each of the performers teased their respective characters, many of which were described as complicated monsters, with Tudyk promising, "You're going to see where everybody came from, their origins, and it's terrifying." He added, "There's moments where you are shocked and horrified and moved, and then by the same characters can make you laugh, and then also make you cringe because they're so violent and screwed up. Not only do we want to, but Rick Flag appears in Superman. He's a major character in Peacemaker Season 2, he said. We wanted to cast people who could play those characters live action, at least for the major characters." Expanding on this conversation later in the panel about how else these characters might appear in the DCU, Gunn noted that we have ideas for other things and a couple of these people may appear in other media as other characters soon. But he was adamant that even with some references to things that have already been established, fans didn't need to know all the DC lore to watch. "This is first and foremost about story. We don't want anybody to come to Creature Commandos going, 'Oh, you have to watch the Suicide Squad to understand what happened in Creature Commandos.' We want people to be able to come in this blind and then be totally excited about it," he added. Gunn also gave updates on other ongoing DC Studios projects, including Peacemaker, Superman, Supergirl, and Lanterns. Check each out below. Peacemaker. Gunn revealed he was shooting the series late last night and will return to filming on Monday, while providing updates on star John Cena's performance growth and speaking to the work of one director in the series. The new series has been going exceptionally well. Somewhere we have Greg Mottola in the audience, the great director of Superbad film, who directed 2 of the best Peacemaker episodes ever, episodes 2 and 3 of Season 2. John Cena has honestly, God, I've never seen anyone who has gotten so much better in such a short amount of time. He was great in the first season. This season he owns it and he's amazing, Gunn said. Superman. In terms of Superman, Gunn reiterated past statements about canine hero Krypto, commended stars David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan, and also provided some edit and trailer timing updates. Krypto, that's been something that's just been amazing. We've been working with him in edit. He's an incredible part of the story to me, personally. When I was writing the screenplay, he came in and kind of changed everything up. We're deep in the process of editing. David Corenswet is going to fucking blow people away. He is the movie star that everyone just dreams he could possibly be. I don't think anyone really understands the depth of this guy's talent dramatically, comedically. He's the best physical action star I've probably ever worked with, Gunn said before being jokingly cut off by another panelist. I feel good about it, and I'm really hard on stuff, so it's been fantastic. It won't be too long before we see a trailer, but it also won't be too soon. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Gunn spoke to how the film will be based on Tom King's comic Woman of Tomorrow and called it a completely different, unique take on a superhero before revealing he had just seen the screen test for Ruthie. That's another project that's just been left from the beginning. Writer Anna Noguera came in, and she pitched the story to me of Supergirl, and it was just one of the best pitches I've ever heard, and she immediately wrote it. She came in with the first draft that was great, and it's just gotten better and better. Then director Craig Gillespie has been incredibly easy to work with, and I can't wait for that to come out, he said. It's a 3-act structure, so it's a little bit different than the structure, which kind of goes through various stories, but is all those major characters, the major themes. Lantern. Much of Gunn's focus was on star Aaron Pierre, whose casting as Jon Stewart was recently announced, who the DC Studios head also revealed had almost been cast as another superhero character. Aaron Pierre is somebody who I've wanted to work together with for a long time. People don't know, but he was almost cast as Adam Warlock. He's an amazing actor, and I just really admired him from the beginning of his career. Seeing him read with Kyle was one of those miraculous moments. I don't care what they're saying. I just love what they're saying together, he said. When we first started the DCU, the first couple of weeks of heading this out, we got together with a group of writers, and Tom King was one of those writers, and we were in this room, and we came up with sort of this concept for Lanterns. It's a very grounded series, a very real series, which is a strange thing to say about a Green Lantern show. But it's going to be something like nobody's ever seen before. Now let's talk about the Blumhouse panel. Jason Blum couldn't reveal any details about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on Friday, but he did give New York Comic-Con attendees the poster for the sequel to last year's highest-grossing horror film, $137.2 million domestic, $291.4 million worldwide. The first movie opened during the actors' strike day and date on Peacock and defied all the hurdles of last fall's marketplace. The movie, based on the hit video game, was an anomaly, performing equally well in theaters and on Peacock since it was a hot, fan-frenzied franchise. Five Nights at Freddy's was Peacock's most-watched film or series ever in its first 5 days, besting previous record holders Halloween Ends, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Bel-Air, and The Best Man, The Final Chapters. Blum today gave props to the Pix screenwriter Scott Cawthon for having the foresight that it would be a hit. The movie won over fans with its faithful-to-the-video game production design, down to the eyeliner on the stuffed walking animals. Universal's marketing machine harnessed that to sell to the Freddy faithful. Emma Tammy returns to direct Freddy's 2 off a script she co-wrote with Cawthon and Seth Cuddeback. Matthew Lillard, Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, and Elizabeth Lale star. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 opens on December 5th next year. While typically a dead zone at the box office post-Thanksgiving, a movie like this could defy expectations. The biggest opening for a movie during the post-Black Friday frame is Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai with $24.2 million. Also during the panel, Christopher Landon came out to talk about his social horror movie Drop, starring Megan Fahey. The guy who Blum credited with boosting the Paranormal Activity franchise after Movies 1 and 2 explained that the movie touches on the idea that we live in an age where we're being harassed and attacked by someone you can't see. It's part of everyone's lives. This movie taps into it. The pick unfolds in one night, told in condensed time. Landon said, the movie plays out in real time, and that contributes to the pace and the speed of the film. The finale at the Blumfest panel was an appearance by Allison Williams, star of M3GAN and its upcoming sequel M3GAN 2.0. M3GAN herself also popped up on the video screen, looking as unsettling as ever against a dark backdrop. Hi, New York Comic Con, miss me. M3 Jan said in her vaguely robotic lilt. "I've been upgraded." Williams said her animatronic doll of a co-star had a detectable effect on everyone around her. When Megan rolls onto set, and I mean it, sometimes she is rolled onto set, the vibe shifts in the room, and it gets way spooky. And it was fun to do it the second time. We were like, okay, we know how this is achieved. We know how to do it. And so now we can have a little bit more fun with it and make it bigger and more expansive without giving too much away. "The creepiest parts are just M3 Jan in repose," Williams said, like wherever she's being held, walking past that tent, the Megan tent. The video is almost over. Thank you so much for watching. We covered a lot of the things that happened at New York Comic Con from Marvel onwards. We went over updates from DC Studios, led by James Gunn. We also saw Sony with their next 3 projects and ended with Blumhouse announcing some movies. If you liked the video, please leave a like and share it with your friends and family. Turn on the bell and comment on what you liked and what you want to see in the future here on the channel. Until next time, God bless you.